Good morning and welcome to the Substation's Alternative Voices. This morning we have with us Fazley Elahi Rubel. Rubel is from Noakhali, Bangladesh and has been working in Singapore since 2009. An aspiring social activist, he writes against racism, religious fundamentalism, and is passionate about social justice and human rights. Welcome, Rubel. I'm just so happy and honored to have you. So my first question to you is, you came to Singapore as a very young boy. You were 19, right? So what were you hoping for? You say you came here for a better future. What were you expecting? What were your dreams? And what did you imagine Singapore would be?
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Rakadi, for inviting me here. I'm very honored to be here today. You have asked me a lot of questions. I try to answer one by one. Okay, good morning, audience. When I come to Singapore, that time I was just 19 years old. I just finished my college. After the college, I supposed to go to university, but my family was in financially in difficult time. So even before I joined to the college, I very hard to finish my complete my study because of the financial difficulties. Because my father is like one-man army, he served my whole family. We have a big family of three sisters and two brothers, total six of us, six siblings. After I thought in Bangladesh, I cannot do anything. And by the time I saw the advertisement in the Singapore Training Center, so they advertise like a so-called dream city, and the advertisement shows that once I go to Singapore, I will have everything. Like they will promise us get the big salary and good opportunity. Then I joined the training center, Singapore Training Center. I training as an electrician. They told me I can come here and be a electrician. When I come here, it's not what I expected. So I just work as a cleaner in a construction site. All the heavy things, carrying things, and cleaning of everything. This is not what I expected from Singapore, but I learned to not give up on something until I get what I want. So it took me. Right now, I'm already almost 12 years now working in Singapore. Right now, where I am, this is what I expected when I come here, but I did not get it. But I didn't give up on what I want to be. So I study here again and upskill myself and having better job and better opportunity right now. So this is what I wanted. What was your another question, Raka?
This is what, I mean, I think you've answered everything. Like your dreams and aspirations when you came here and your expectation of the city. And I think, yeah, you've answered that. When you came here in one of your interviews, you talked about an orientation that happens. And that kind of, it's the orientation that gets in a feeling of fear. And so could you talk a little bit about the orientation that happens when you just land in Singapore? I mean, a 19-year-old boy lands here, and then what happens?
Okay, that's a very good question. when we come to Singapore, because the agency, that advertisement is we put it in our brain, in our mind, that it's a dream city and we have so much things to do in Singapore. We can earn so much money. Our family problem will go on by like that. But it did not happen. When I come to Singapore, first when I came here, we saw so nice city, so clean, so developed. Then I thought, oh, it may be true. I come to the dream city. Yes, I am here. The problem happens in the very next day. When I came to the first day, I go to the medical, then go to my dorm. At night, I reach here one night, the next night I reach to my home. This one whole day I never sleep because of the medical and all these processing things. And when I go to the dorm is a 20-foot container, and there is 5 double-decker beds. So we leave 10 people in a room. When one person walk, another person cannot pass by. This kind of situation, I was shocked, and I thought this is impossible. In a dream city, people live like that. So I thought maybe we just come here new. Maybe it's a transitional. We will stay here for a few days and we will go to the better accommodation, which never happened until 12 years now. That's one of the sad part of my Singapore dreams. And when go to the next day, when we go to a safety orientation course, this is a mandatory course by Singapore law, that every workers go to work. Before that, they need to attend a safety orientation course. This course is actually meant to be teaching us what we should do and what we should not do. It is at work and as well as outside. Actually, I think this is good that this kind of course exists, because we have come from different country, different cultures. So we should know where we are going to be, and we should know how to work safely and how to behave in the public. But on the first day during the orientation time, I don't want to say about during the orientation time because I don't want to pinpoint on someone. So when we first time we came here, there was a briefing that present to us as, do not go to the residential area and do not cause any disturbance to the residents. I have shared this thought in some of my other interviews. So do not cause any disturbance to the residents around. If they saw you loitering around there, it's not loitering. You go there and have rest, or you even appear to the residential area, public area. The residents there might feel disturbance by your presence, or they might call the police or call the site management or the dorm management. So where actually we can go? From the dorm, around the dorm, if there is any residential building or residential area, we can go there, maybe supermarket. Or even most of the dorm is actually far from the city and residential area. That is why it is difficult to go to the residential area from the dorm. But from the work site, some of the work site is next to the another residential area, right? So if in our break time or so, if we want to go to the residential area, or even sit on the footpath in front of our work site, it is also restricted. So this kind of briefing that given to us, do not cause any disturbance, this has no boundary. We don't know what might cause the disturbance to the residents next to my work site. So we worry they might inform the worksite management, then worksite management maybe pull me out from the site or even issue me fine or warning or so. In a 19 years boy, even talk to someone is also a fearful feelings for me. And when someone actually officially briefing me like that, definitely I will never go to the residential area because it is fearful, right? So I think your question, you want to know the interaction between the Singaporeans and the migrant workers, how we know them. So this is how we know them. On the very first day, what is actually taught us, it remains our mind, in our brain forever.
So it's that fear that kind of divides you from even interacting with the local community, right? I think, Rubel, your mic is off.
Okay, actually, fear is a barrier that is creating the distance between the Singaporeans and the migrant worker communities. Uh, Maybe there are some Singaporeans who are positive and sympathetic to us, but the first day, what oriented us is remains with us. My first, I think 5 to 7 years time, I remember I didn't have any Singaporean friends. I don't even go and talk to them like I'm interacting with my boss. How I interact with my boss, even outside the public, I would behave the same as my boss. So which is I think is not right. So now that I have a lot of Singaporean friends, and a lot of artists is my friend. I have friendship with so many Singaporeans and artists. How long time does it take for me to come here? Think about it. It took me 7 years to find the means of established network and communication with Singaporeans, which make me think that I should initiate something that can bring people together, bring us together. Now I have so many friends, Singapore local friends. It means it took me to initiate something to have more local friends.
Yeah. So you initiated the Migrant Library and the Migrant Cultural Show. So was this isolation that led you to do that? I mean, when you were living in the dorm, did you form a community within the Bangladeshi community that was working here? And I mean, what initiated you to, you know, start the Migrant Library and the cultural show? So, is it this isolation?
Okay, actually, Migrant Library and Migrant Cultural Show both are not actually initiated at the same time. Migrant Library we initiated at first, and then followed by Migrant Cultural Show. But because we didn't have any place for the where we can create the library, actually we are the same team. Some of Bangladeshis, few of us, we initiated this migrant library at the first place because we have some of the you know very well Bangladeshis like poetry, music, reading books, and having books in their shelves. This is kind of our culture. So, and when I come to Singapore, in the college life, I used to have the habit of reading books of like not like novels. I try to read science and history books more. When I come to Singapore, I cannot find any books to read, and even I I don't have actually enough time to read. Also, after a few years, my habit of reading books actually is turned to screen. Like because I cannot find the books to read in Bengali, I like to read in Bengali books, not English books. Even English books, some of the books like A Brief History of Humankind, Yuval Noah Harari. I read these books, but in translated version, like translated in Bengali. So, I'll, I mean, those written in Bengali, I can feel it much better than the English books. So when my neighbor or my relatives come from Bangladesh to Singapore, I ask my father or my mother to send. I give the list of books, 2 to 5 books, because cannot bring so many. They bring here. I read. After I read, I don't know what to do with these books. So I give to somebody, and I don't know who I give to who. Then I cannot take it back. Unless if I can take back, then I can pass to another person. So from there, it come to my mind that absence of a book library in Singapore, that anyone can find their own books. For me, I have a personality of hammering the barriers. Like if I have some difficulties, I don't want somebody else to face the same difficulties as me. So I proposed this TWC to Devi, and it took, I think, around few months to finalize. So 2017, 6th of December, she confirmed, and we have some ready-made books, and we just put it in the shelf, and we take photos and post it in Facebook. After we post in Facebook and we request for books, and there is a flood of books that come to us, and I thought, yeah, people actually appreciate what we do. It was on 6th of December, and then 7th of January is our first migrant cultural show, which is the first ever migrant talent show that happen in Singapore, that brings the different community into the single platform. This is the first ever. I mean, it was initiated in a way that now let's talk about the migrant cultural show. It was initiated in a way that I saw Singaporeans and I feel fear. And after I know few Singaporeans, I attend to some of the events. I see, no, there are some Singaporeans who are sympathetic, and we don't want to be fearful, but we want to be together. And I also observe this a lot of migrant worker teams, a lot of teams like Indonesian dance group, Philippine dance group, Bangladeshi poet and writers group, Bengali literature groups, all this. So I observe that everybody is doing it their own. Please mute your mic.
Sorry. I know I was saying there's something interesting, because when you started the Migrant Library, it was for the Bengali community, but when you started the cultural show, it was for the whole community of migrant workers. So, there was a shift when you started the cultural show. So, and you talk about, in one of your interviews, you talked about building communities. So it's interesting to see the shift, and what made you like you. So you became bigger and more embracing when you started the cultural show. That's what, yeah, I wanted you to talk about that.
Okay, okay, that's nice. Actually, uh, when we started the Migrant Library and Cultural Show, it's just a 1 month gap. Actually, even the Migrant Library, it wasn't. I'm sorry, I'm correcting it. We did not initiate it for Bangladeshis. I mean, from my difficulties of having books in my own language, I assume a lot of other people would feel the same from the other countries. So in the migrant library, I did not wanted it to be a Bangladeshi library. Instead, since I gave it a migrant library, it should be represent all the migrant workers. This is in my heart and in my genes. I don't like to be like for Bangladeshis. I think beyond borders. We are migrant workers here. We should do it like migrant for collaboration with everybody. That is why I have books in Bengali, Tamil, Bahasa Malay, Bahasa Indonesia, Filipino, and Chinese and Thai. Some even ask me, "You don't have any Thai friends? Thai people don't come here to read your books. Why you bring the Thai books, Chinese books?" I say, "Well, first we bring the books, then the reader will follow." And then really after that, people saw the news in the newspaper, and some Thai friends come in and they say, "Okay, we want to give some books to you. Donate." They donate some, I think, 7 books. Then we keep it. Then followed by they bring another readers to come here and borrow the Thai books. That was amazing. First, when someone criticized me, "Why you bring so many books? You only Bangladeshi come here. You read. You are Bangladeshi. Just bring the Bangladeshi book enough reading." But I said there is already people are working with Bangladeshis, and the dividation that I don't like, and the boundary that don't have in my brain. Why in my initiative? Why there will be some boundary? I don't want it. That's why we have this library that have all languages of books. And then the followed by we have the migrant cultural show. So earlier I was telling that, well, I give you one idea who are doing this initiative. After I come around 2015 or 2016, I meet some of the Bangladeshi free thinkers friend, around 4 or 5. I'm the one who is the actually take the initiative. But of course, I have some other friends who need to help. Without them, I cannot do it. First is me, Zilani. Zilani also have the similar passion for doing the library. Then the Ripon Chaudhuri. Another one is the Shorjik Sharathi Dash. He's the one actually created the. He's good in editing the photo. He's actually the one who created the logo for the library. I mean, 4 of us, we are the team of like anything you want to do it now. We have so much energy and so much passion for it, and we immediately do it. And then the following month, we did the first cultural show. Even that time, we didn't know anybody, but in our mind that we want to break this barrier, we want to do it, and we smash it and we do it. Even though there are some of the like organizing, like little bit of mess here and there, but we did it, and Straight Times featured it in their full article. It was a great article that Straight Times featured. After that, actually, a lot of people. So I haven't tell you actually why the migrant cultural show. Why we think of migrant cultural show. Earlier I told you that there's a lot of groups and teams, small groups divided by the nations. Like Bangladeshi has Bangladeshi bands. Bangladesh has around 3 or 4 bands, and everyone not so cooperative, I would say. Then have a Bengali Literature Society, and they are actually doing like they are trying to represent the Bengali literature in Singapore. I'm not very passionate about the literature things, but instead other arts. So I saw they are doing something like Bangladesh Book Fair, the Bangladeshi Bengali Literature Society. Yeah, I think that's right, because Bangladeshi Literature Society should be doing the Bangladesh Book Fair. Should be for me okay, but I said something begins from the brain, from the mind. Since the no border in my brain, in my initiated it should not reflect. In my initiated, if I want to initiate something, it should reflect who I am and what I am. If there is no barrier, no border in my brain, there should be no border in my initiative too. So I thought, no, bring everybody together. Bring everybody together in the single platform to understand about different cultures, bring together and make friendship with each other, and
Yeah,
also
that's
to
that's amazing. That's amazing, thinking beyond borders. So how did you, for the cultural show, how did you manage to get the people together? How did you draw people together? Because you only have a Sunday off. So was it all done on that one Sunday? I mean, rehearsals, getting people together, because, since I'm in performing art, I know what a nightmare it is to organize things. So how did you do that?
okay. Our first cultural show was like we put so much energy. We work at night, Saturday night, whole night, until midnight. We do some preparation, and Sunday morning we wake up. We go to see that performers, the artists want to perform in the cultural show. We go to see their rehearsal practice, because we don't want everybody to come in, and but we see whether they can perform, and we visit to some of them, and some of the groups are actually they are doing this for a long time, and I saw them performing before. That is why I observed that there are various groups, a lot of groups among the migrant worker communities, a lot of low artists that didn't have the opportunity to come closer. And there is another one thing you will notice, that when migrant workers meet any Singaporeans on the train, on the bus, or on the street, which is does not make you come closer and have some exchange of dialogue, exchange of cultures, and understanding. When you are in the train, you are a rider, both are rider. On the street, you are a stranger. But when you come to the same stage or same hall for an event, you are culturally or artistically connected, and you have the opportunity to actually share your cultures with locals and have conversation, come closer in the first place. So Singaporean can have better understanding about the person who is performing, or about foreign cultures. I mean, those coming from various countries like Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, uh, Indonesia, Philippines, all this. And I think the only organized event, any organized event, is the only time that actually we can mingle with Singaporeans. No other time. Singaporeans, you cannot talk to a stranger in the street, but when you come to an event for a performers, or whether you audience or your performers, you have a common passion for art, and from there you can actually start a conversation, because you are here for a few hours or so. Even the before the event or after the event or during the event, you have a opportunity to actually talk.
So, in recent years, there has been a lot of attention given to migrant issues, and we see the migrant poetry festival, and there is a lot of awareness that there's a lot of talent amongst the migrant community. So, do you think things have changed? I mean, do you think there is more understanding now, or is there still this apathy and ignorance amongst most? And I know it's a lot of questions together. I mean, how do you address it?
Okay, that's a good question. uh, Actually, 2018, 7th of January is our first cultural show. This first cultural show actually changed the whole geography of the migrant community and the artworks in Singapore. It actually break the barrier and change the geography of that. Before that, there are so much dividation. After that, people learn that we are migrant workers and we can do it together. Like now, you see a lot of more cooperation. I mean, the collaboration between the migrant workers, artist, and the local artist. You see one of the event on Channel 5 last year. No, it's actually this year, I think. I forgot the date and time. The event is called Embrace. It was organized by local artist and production house. Rose is the one who organized this event. I was one of the MC there. So after the cultural show, they understood that migrant workers have so much talent and so many artists that in the migrant worker communities. So they actually invited us and asked us to collaborate with them and perform in their show. So it was a collaboration between the local and the migrant artist. In during our last year's event, which was themed as Bridge. Bridge means it's a initiative to building bridge between communities, like local artists and the migrant artists come together to perform, and it will actually have more better understanding about the different cultures. So this was featured in the news, and then local artists and the organizers, they have more eyes on us. And then after the first migrant culture show, a lot of team and a lot of groups have changed from like Bangladeshi group to become migrant group, Bangladesh Indonesian or local group to become local and migrant collaboration. There are a lot of things have changed. I think I don't want to give all the credit to me, but my team that who have put it together. Without them, I cannot do it.
Yeah, I think that's great that you could build a community. Uh, I wanted to ask you, how has COVID changed everything? Because I remember, yeah, I mean, I'll just leave the question to you. How has COVID affected the community, and what happened after that?
Okay, Didi, it was a bit tricky for me to answer. The Singapore remains the same as I told you when I first came here. The dormitory situation changed little bit. One room, 10 people, 20-foot container, 10 people, double decker bed, and some big room have 20 people. Some even have 42 people in a single room. If you want to understand this, how many people in a room, maybe you can think, in my family we have 6 members or 7 members, we can live together. But remember that we are one family, 7 members in a family, but we are one family. But if in a room there is 20 workers, there is 20 family. Everybody has their free time. They need to talk to their family, video call or audio call, need some privacy. There is no privacy. There is no. I mean, dormitory should be a home for us. Like for myself, I'm 12 years now. Until today, I don't have a home. I'm here someday, there someday, here, there someday. If you think, I mean, some of the Singaporeans friends like to compare about the hostel in the college or university hostel, or even the national service hostel. But I think they are even better than what migrant workers stay. But those hostel is actually meant to be for them for 1 to 2 years. Maybe national service hostel maybe for a few weeks, 2 weeks. But this is for us. Our dormitory is for us for our Singapore life. Like if we stay here 20 years, we don't have a home. There is a huge difference between the home and a sleeping place. I think you would agree with me. Home and sleeping place is not the same. Sleeping place where you can just sleep. Home you need to have privacy. You need to have your personal space, which we don't have. We just have a sleeping place. We go to work, come back from work, sleep.
So even in 20 years, even if you've been here for 10, 20 years, 16 years, this can never be home. I think we have a lot of questions from the audience.
Okay, let me answer what
Okay, yeah.
COVID changed us. So
Yes, please.
just now I was telling you that the dormitory situation before the COVID and after the COVID, it almost same. Why it was spread so fast? If people live in this manner, it is definitely it will be spread so quickly, because everybody using the same facilities, shower facilities, everything. One basin, everybody, one level, how many? 100 people, everybody using the same facilities. So during the COVID, I think migrant workers are more affected. Yeah, migrant workers is a vulnerable community, and they are more affected by the restrictions, and the movement restriction is most harming us mentally and emotionally. There are some financial problem during the circuit breaker. We didn't have enough money to support our family, but that's over now. We are now allowed to work, but movement restriction is actually hurting is emotionally and mentally. I hope, and some of the friends actually go home go Bangladesh or India, Philippines, Indonesia for vacation. Then they cannot come back. So Singapore is the only income source for them. They cannot think of other income source by that time. I know personally a lot of them, they couldn't come, and I saw their Facebook post, and I feel pity, I feel sad for every one of them. I just put myself in their shoes, and I imagine what would happen to me. I'm the only breadwinner of my family. If it was happened to me, uh, it would be more difficult than it might be more difficult than them. My situation would be more difficult than them. So yeah,
I think,
COVID
yeah,
COVID has
yeah,
even okay. So that for the art related people like migrant cultural show or other artistic groups that previously doing artworks, our last year show we bring to online Zoom. It was held on Zoom, even though it's in a small show, because you cannot actually uh, artistic show is actually not for online, it for the stage, but it is difficult to do it online, because since the show must go on, we must do something else to actually fit with the situation. But this year we are planning for the show on the stage.
oh, that's yeah, that's wonderful. You have something coming up at the Esplanade Annex. So people who are watching, please share that, share the information. And I hope, is it going to be ticketed, Rubel, the show at Esplanade?
Okay. We are just in a planning stage for this year cultural show. This year cultural show we will have different theme as last year. Last year we have a theme of bridge. This year maybe we will have a different theme. And this from this year, previously cultural show was meant to be like showcasing the migrant talents to Singaporeans, and so that Singaporeans understand that migrant workers have various talents in artistic performances. But this year, same as last year, our online event, this year we will bring in local artists and the migrant artists together, as I told you earlier, to create the bridge between us, between the communities. We don't want to be separated and isolated by the nation or by the. I mean, I don't like the dividation. If I see there is some dividation, I stay away from that. I stay away from that particular things.
Yeah, maybe we can start taking the questions now. There are some questions from the audience.
Okay,
If
I
we
think I
could,
forgot to answer you about the ticketing. For that, our cultural show this year will be in Esplanade Annex Studio, and it will be happen on 12th of December. The time and the other information we will share in our event page. Look at our migrant cultural show page. And for the ticketing part, migrant cultural show is forever. It's a free event. From the first year, we have come out money from our pocket to bring this show together. All of our team members have spent some money. First year, I remember I spent around 1,000. Zilani spent around 400. Shorjik spent also around 200 to 300. Ripon also spent a few $100. We have spent it, every one of us spent it some of the money first year, because we didn't know any sponsor or anything. We don't know where to get the sponsor for event, and we are migrant workers who going to trust us and help us with the event. But the second year we have the help from TWC to Devi. She sponsored the hall, is at the Aliwal Art Center.
Yeah, that's very difficult. We have a question that if someone you knew were planning to come to this country to work, what would you tell them to expect? This is from Windu. Yeah. I think your mic is not working. We can't hear you,
Okay,
Rubel.
okay, sorry. Hi, Windu. Windu is one of our team member after the first year show, because first year show we didn't know any people. Second year, Windu also one of our team member, executive team member in our team. Like Migrant Culture Show and Migrant Library is the same team. But she is not asking about the artwork. She's asking about the someone new coming here to work. What would you tell them to expect? Okay, you can anyone want to come to Singapore for work. I think what I have expressed earlier, it is little bit of improvement I can see here and there. And dormitory, I think a little bit of changing in the dormitory size. Now the 20-foot container, they don't put 10 people, no have double-decker beds. You won't face the double-decker bed. But the privacy things, you still don't expect. You still leave 12 people in a room, no privacy. But I hear there are some changes is coming. I haven't seen. We will wait for it. And right now, MOM is actually more aware. And when I came here, it took me 7-8 years to understand there are some NGOs and charity groups that helping the migrant workers. Right now, I think more charity groups are working on it. Some some maybe by forced or contrived, but some are really dedicative, like TWC2 Home,
What about
IRR.
food?
IRR is doing some good work. They are distributing a lot of helps to the migrant workers, and TWC2 is actually supporting them. And I saw the MOM is started an initiative of ACE team. So the ACE team also to take care of the migrant workers' mental health and any help they might need. So I have seen my construction site has a dorm. I see they always come to my dorm and ask for if everything is okay. So I think there are a lot of changes is coming in. So it might not look like what I have experienced. And
What?
now,
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you, what about food? I mean, do you cook or is it catered, or what do you do about food besides accommodation? Because I know, like, yeah.
okay, about the food, when I come to Singapore in 2009 until today, it remains unchanged. So I don't think there is any particular law to protect, cover all the caterer service, like what kind of food they should provide and how much calorie it should contains in every meals. I don't know if there is, but I assume, since I don't know, for 12 years I stay here, I don't know means there is none. I should assume that there is none. And in 12 years time, I never see any changes in the food. So the food that catered food that served to us is not very healthy unless you eat food from outside. But I mean, you eat catered food than some you add from outside, you will never have enough energy to work. So what our brothers do, every morning they go and drink one Red Bull, is known to be an energy drink. So they have Red Bull, then they go and walk, they can work, then after that come back, it's very weak, very tired. So catering food is need to do something, some big step in the catering food, that to change the standard and quality of the food. How much calorie it should contain, it must be somehow set up by some requirement or some laws. And about the cooking, before the COVID, some dorm has actually cooking facilities, so they can cook. Actually, if anyone can cook, they can actually eat better with lesser price than the catered food. So some of the dorm actually don't allow to cook, like construction site dorm, they don't really allow because it's unsafe. So why it unsafe? It involves a fire hazard. So there is everywhere is hazard, right? So there can be done something to avoid the hazard and allow the workers to cook.
Okay, there's a question from Kristen Tan. Hi, Rubel. In the 12 years that you've been here, do you feel a change in attitude of Singaporeans towards the migrant workers? And what's your hope from the Singaporean community towards migrant workers? Rubel, I think your mic, there's something, we can't hear you.
Hello, Christian Than, Miss Christian Than. This is a good question that you brought up, and I think I need to say a lot about it. In 12 years' time, the attitude towards the migrant community, I don't know about the migrant community, the attitude towards the migrant community, but attitude towards me have changed since I'm an organizer. So you think about it. If to be an organizer, to have Singaporean friends, what about the others, those coming just yesterday? They are more vulnerable than me. They need more mental support. So what you can do for the migrant community, okay, appreciate us, accept us, that would help. you see migrant workers don't draw a line between the migrant workers and you. So if you say we and them, then it is already a border. You tell them that migrant workers. Some of my friends actually call us like that. My migrant friend brother, my migrant brother friend, something like that. What is migrant brother? What is migrant friend? He's my friend. He's Rubel. That's enough. And if we go to the work site, we are a construction worker. If we go to like in the train or in the bus, we are a rider. If we go to hospital, we are a patient. Not forever we are workers. You will see, even in the newspaper, you will see migrant workers accident on the road. He is a passerby. He is a rider. If a rider accident, he is a rider. He is from Bangladesh, or he is from India or China, whatever. The stereotypes about us need to be changed, that migrant workers are dangerous, dirty, or desperate, like uneducated or something. This kind of thought we need to change. If he is my friend, me and Raka, I call her Didi, but we are friends. We are friends by arts and our passions. If Raka introduces me, my migrant brother friend Rubel, that would be inappropriate, right? So something to do with ourself, our mind and our thoughts. Sorry, I'm not here to giving lectures to what people to think, but I can tell you what is the wrong, what is the, please off your mic.
No, this is not I just wanted to tell you this is not a lecture. It's absolutely fine. And I agree with you, like, because when we are introducing anybody else, we don't introduce their profession. So this is absolutely apt, what you're saying. So please continue.
Okay, if you have friends come to your home who is Singaporeans and you are also Singaporeans, he drives a taxi, he drives a taxi, do you introduce him? Okay, he's Mr. Alvin or Mr. Tan. Singapore has a lot of Tan. Mr. Tan, my taxi driver friend, Mr. Tan, do you introduce him like that? No, he's Mr. Tan, my friend, come to visit my home. So there is something, even some of the organization, some of the NGO, I mean, I don't want to say NGOs, some of the local initiative who runs the initiative, I don't know how much they actually accept us, since I saw some of the organization Facebook post. It says, introduces us, migrant worker brother, Mr. XYZ, he's our friend. If he's your friend, he has name. Some reputed organization, I saw their Facebook post, and I like, really? Okay, it means they are doing something, but they don't know what they are doing. So it is something to do with us. We have to educate ourselves. And we have to accept first those who working for the migrant communities. We have to educate ourselves. Then only we can actually represent to somebody else. If we don't even accept it, everything is here. We have to do something here. In the brain, we need to understand what we are saying and what we are doing. Let me remember something. If you have something.
There is one more question.
I think Christian Tan, you have your answer. I remember more. I will tell you more later.
We are actually running out of time, but it was wonderful. There's just one last question. What are you hoping to accomplish in the future?
I would say I want to be. I think I have contributed a lot in Singapore community, economically as well as artistics. I have many to expect, but I don't know how to expect from here. I can only expect get salary every month, send home, and then after I finish, I cannot work anymore. I go home. But I should expect something more from this community and this country, this society. That this year we are hosting the event, Migrant Culture Show, and I don't have any sponsor to sponsor me. So I don't know whether this year I have to come out from money again. That's not that's from the my cultural side. And from me personally, if I want to expect something, I should expect to be to remain in this community, to integrate more with this country and community. I should be able to stay here, but I know that it will not happen. I have to go home after certain years, and that's actually a difficult feeling that I should, after 19 years kid, I come to Singapore. My whole life is in Singapore. In Bangladesh, I don't have a life, because first 12 15 years I just school and home. I didn't see anything in Bangladesh. Everything is my life, everything in Singapore. So my life in Singapore is more than in Bangladesh. And I sad to remember that after a certain year I not need to go home, but I want to belong to Singapore. That's the terrible feeling that it will never happen.
Yeah, I hope, yeah, one day you can make Singapore home. I mean, that would be absolutely wonderful. There's a question from Kristen. It's an important last question. How can Singaporeans help in supporting the migrant cultural show? Could we start a fund, or how can we help? Rubel, your mic is, I think, off.
Okay, sorry. uh, Various way to help is, one, the best help is your support and presence. That's the best help. And you appreciate and understand the migrant arts. And when we want to help somebody, any Singaporean, if you ask them to help migrant workers or community, they would think donation will help. You think about it, we work every day 12 to 16 hours a day and 7 days a week, and if we still need to accept the donations, it means something wrong with the system. It means we are not getting enough pay. For a lot of things we need to get help, financial help. So something is wrong with the system. Sorry, I don't mention about the system. And yeah, your presence and your acceptance and appreciation, it will help. It will definitely help. You can also volunteer to support the event. There is many way to help actually.
Thank you, Rubel. It was wonderful having you. We've unfortunately run out of time, but it was very enlightening. And thank you so much for being here on a Sunday morning. Thank you.
Actually, I should be the one who thankful to you, Ms. Raka, for inviting me here. It was a happy feeling that I can share all the feelings and all the problems that migrant community faces and what can be done. I know there are many Singaporeans who is willing to, they are eager to do something, but some of them actually don't know what they can do, and some of them thinks only donation can help. But no, the acceptance is more helpful. Acceptance and appreciation is more helpful than the donations. And Rakadi, thanks for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to
Not,
talk.
not at all. It's thank you. Thank you, and thank you for being with us this Sunday. We shall have another conversation, the last conversation of alternative voices next weekend. So do join us again. Thank you.